the estimation, appraisal or interpretation of a given commodity's worth, significance or utility. Value also refers to a moral principle established by a given individual or community. Variorum. A Variorum, short for editio cum notas Variorum, is a work that collates all known variants of a text. It is a work of textual criticism, whereby all variations and emendations are set side by side, so that a reader can track how textual decisions have been made in the preparation of a text for publication. The Bible and the works of William Shakespeare have often been the subjects of Variorum editions, although the same techniques have been applied with less frequency to many other works. Vates. In modern English, the nouns vates and ovate are used as technical terms for ancient Celtic bards, prophets and philosophers. The terms correspond to a Proto-Celtic word which can be reconstructed as Vates. They are sometimes also used as English equivalents to later Celtic terms, such as Irish faith prophet, seer. Vaudeville. Vaudeville, French, is a theatrical genre of variety entertainment born in France at the end of the 19th century. A vaudeville was originally a comedy without psychological or moral intentions, based on a comical situation. A dramatic composition or light poetry, interspersed with songs or ballets. It became popular in the United States and Canada from the early 1880s until the early 1930s, but the idea of vaudeville's theater changed radically from its French antecedent. Verisimilitude. Verisimilitude is the lifelikeness or believability of a work of fiction. The word comes from Latin. Vera meaning truth and similis meaning similar. Language philosopher Steve Neal distinguishes between two types. Cultural verisimilitude, meaning plausibility of the fictional work within the cultural and/or historical context of the real world, outside of the work, and generic verisimilitude, meaning plausibility of a fictional work within the bounds of its own genre, so that, for example, characters regularly singing about their feelings is a believable action within the fictional universe of a musical. Verism. Verism is the artistic preference of contemporary everyday subject matter. Instead of the heroic or legendary in art and literature, it is a form of realism. The word comes from Latin veris, true. Vignette. In a novel, theatrical script, screenplay, sketch stories, and poetry, a vignette is a short impressionistic scene that focuses on one moment or character and gives a trenchant impression about that character, an idea, setting, and/or object. It is a short, descriptive passage, more about evoking meaning through imagery than about plot. Villanelle. Villanesque. A villanelle, also known as Villanesque, is a 19-line poetic form consisting of 5 tercets, followed by a quatrain. There are 2 refrains and 2 repeating rhymes, with the first and third line of the first tercet repeated alternately at the end of each subsequent stanza until the last stanza, which includes both repeated lines. The villanelle is an example of a fixed verse form. The word derives from Latin, then Italian, and is related to the initial subject of the form being the pastoral. Virelai. A virelai is a form of medieval French verse used often in poetry and music. It is one of the 3 forms fixes, the others were the ballade and the rondeau, and was one of the most common verse forms set to music in Europe from the late 13th to the 15th centuries. Vorticism. Vorticism was a short-lived modernist movement in British art and poetry of the early 20th century, partly inspired by Cubism. The movement was announced in 1914 in the first issue of Blast, which contained its manifesto, and the movement's rejection of landscape and nudes, in favor of a geometric style tending towards abstraction. Ultimately, it was their witnessing of unfolding human disaster in World War I that drained these artists of their Vorticist zeal. Vorticism was based in London, but was international in makeup and ambition. Vulgate. The Vulgate, Biblia Vulgata, is a late 4th century Latin translation of the Bible. It was to become the Catholic Church's officially promulgated Latin version of the Bible during the 16th century and is still used in the Latin Church alongside the Hebrew and Greek sources.